Hey guys, so I want to make a bowl, but I want to make it look like a fish aquarium, kinda like underwater fun stuff. So we are gonna have to build this bowl in layers. The first layer I'm gonna do, because it's actually gonna be the very top of the bowl, is a darker blue, okay? And I'm also going to put a little bit of blue glitter in it, and that's going to be the top of the bowl. And then I'm going to do lighter blues and greens, like as we come up, to the bottom of the bowl. Now, I also want to put other stuff in there. I got some seashells and some rocks and some, all kinds of little starfish and whatever else that we're going to build up around here as the bowl comes this way. Now my whole bottom layer, what I'd like to do is do the river stone, the whole bottom in sand. So I'm thinking from like here, like the whole bottom of the bowl up is all going to be the river stone and sand. So I'm really only building this here. Okay? And I have no idea how much resin to mix for this bottom layer. So I just mixed up enough. Like I mixed up like 6 ounces. And I probably won't need it all for this because I want the first layer to be really dark. But then I want it to be really super light blue and blue-green through the rest of that little spot. So, if I have extra left over, I do. I do think I am going to, not go, actually, I think I'm not gonna go as dark as I was originally thinking, guys. I think I'm gonna do, I have a really pretty turquoise. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do that, guys. I think I'm going to do the first layer with this like color blue, okay? Instead of doing such a dark first color, because I worry that it's gonna end up making it too dark, that, it's just not gonna build my idea, what I got in my head for this aquarium bowl. So, I'm trying to see if I can find, there, we have like a sky blue. And I think I'm gonna omit the glitter until we get further down the bowl. I'll do it in like the turquoisey color. So I just got the sky blue, and we're gonna use that. And this isn't alcohol ink, you guys. This is just regular resin dye. So we're gonna mix this up and see now. Remember, it's in the cup. It's, it's deeper, so it is gonna look a little bit darker, which, like I said, the first layer I don't mind if it is, a little bit darker down there on that rim. That's fine. I do think I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of, not that other glitter that I was originally going to put in there, but I do think I am going to put a little bit of the crushed crystal in there. And I mean a smidget. And that's only because I want to give it a little bit of shimmer, like, you know, like the water's glistening, you know. And then once this layer cures, oh my goodness, that's okay. Once this layer cures, then we'll come back and we'll start working on getting the second layer done for the, like, lighter blue with all of the stuff in it. We gotta get, you know, all the shells in there and the starfish and some, I'm gonna get some little turtles, like itty bitty little turtles, and put in throughout there, and we're just going to have fun and just throw it all in there, make it look like a little aquarium. And then when it's completely cured and finished, we're gonna do like a little scene on the inside of the bowl. Like once this is all completely done and demolded, I'm gonna do like a little water scene in here with some goldfish stickers and some little koi and stuff like that. And that's how we're gonna do the inside of that bowl. This is, I've been wanting to do this for so many years, you guys. I love fish. I love fish aquariums. Like, oh my gosh. I love ponds. Like, we used to have a big koi pond, and I miss it so bad. Every day I miss it. We had bullfrog. We had a big bullfrog pond, too. Okay. So, we're going to take this and put it down around the bottom. Now, I am going to pay attention to how far it's coming up my bowl, because I do want to make sure that we're leaving enough room for the next color, you know, and all the stuff we're going to put in there. So, I don't want it to get too high up on the bowl. So we're just gonna, I put a little bit of alcohol down in the bottom, and I don't really care about that crushed crystal there. That's fine. And we're gonna get it down to the other side of the bow. Alright, let's see here. Because remember, we only want that little, like, lip of the top of this jar done. Yeah, I made way too much resin, as always. Oh my. Because I do think that's going to be, and I'll show you guys here in a second. I'm just trying to level it out and see how far we are up on this bowl. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you really without it. There, you guys can see it's just a little bit there in the bottom of the bowl, okay? And then once that cures, we're going to come back and we're going to put the lighter blue turquoise color in with all the shells and stuff, and then our bottom layer. We got so much fun packed into this bowl coming. I cannot wait till this cures. So it's going to go on the heat mat as soon as my tray's done over there. And we're going to get it cured so we can start working on the next step. It doesn't even have to be cured all the way. It's just got to be set up enough that it's not going to blend into each other. So we will be back in a little bit, guys. Bye! Alright, guys. So we're going to try to work on getting this little fish aquarium bowl finished. I've been working on it for weeks now, and oh my goodness sakes, I finally got some orders caught up that I can now start working on the second part of this fish bowl, because where we left off, we just poured the blue rim in, and then I was messing around and put some UV resin on here and cured it, and I don't know, you guys were gonna see, you know. And because I want to build the inside of the bowl and put the fish on the inside once this is cured and demolded, I thought maybe those little bubbles down there would look cool. I don't know, we're just gonna go with it. So I got some resin mixed up here off to the side, and I got some colors. I got some turquoises in that Australian, and I'm debating on which one to use. I don't want a lot of color. Whatever color I do choose, I don't want it to be dark because we are putting stuff in there. I got a whole bucket of different shells and rocks and all kinds of stuff to put in here, because this part I'm going to do like the water, and then once we demold it and flip it over, I'm going to put the fish in the center of the bowl on the other side. So this part we're building around is just going to be to look like it's in, you know, the water. So we are going to work on that. I'm thinking this turquoise here is a lot lighter than the turquoise by Picasso, but I kind of want a little bit of this cerulean blue in there. So I might do a drop or two of that and maybe a drop or two of one of the turquoises. Because I kind of want, I don't want it to be blue, because we got the blue rim. So I kind of want it like to be a blue-green color. So that's why I thought I would put a drop or two of the blue and then a drop or two of the turquoise. So we're just going to kind of work at the colors slow and see what we come up with. So the first one I'm going to do is the cerulean, however you want to say that word. And we're just going to put, come out a little fast. We're going to work slow, literally a drop at a time, because I do not want this to get too dark on me. I want it to be clear. I want it to be tinted and colored, but I want it to be very see-through, so that way you can see all the cool stuff that we're putting inside the bowl. So just those two drops have already made a pretty decent color. And I do want to probably put one or two, whatever is going to drop out of here. Because remember, with it being in the cup, it is going to look darker. Now, we will have a little bit of depth in the bowl too as well. So remember to scrape your sides down. See, now that's starting to look nice. It's not probably still dark enough by any means, but what you can do is take your stick, put it on a paper towel, and that'll tell you. See, I still got quite a bit more. Let's go ahead and add a drop of this turquoise to it, since we still have a lot of room for color yet. Let's put 2 of those in there. And let's do 1 more of this cerulean blue and see what that'll give us. Okay, so I've been wanting to make this like fish aquarium bowl project since the beginning of time of me watching Resin. I love watching them make like the river tables, and eventually I am going to make myself a nice big river table for in my living room. It's going to be a matter of finding the wood. And yes, I know you can buy it online and stuff like that, but I think I would rather kind of find my own wood that I would be making my table with. It's kind of like, I don't know, I've always been like that, where yes, you gotta buy certain things, but if I can find them out in nature on my own exploring, or I come across it in my way of things in life, then I feel like it was meant for me to have or do. Or see, that's still very, very, very translucent, even though it looks darker in our cup. So we're still pretty safe on color. I don't want to add too much because we are going to be having a little bit of depth in this bowl, which will make it look darker, like I was saying. So I think that after this here that I'm adding in and mixing now, I think we're going to go ahead and go with that and just leave it alone. Because even if it ends up being a little bit darker or a little bit lighter than I wanted, I would rather that than have it be too dark and not be able to see through to the stuff that's on the inside of the bowl. Now, the other thing I am going to do is I want to put some lights inside this bowl. So I got to grab my fairy lights real quick, and I gotta kind of work fast because my resin is starting to get warm on me. And I'm gonna do 2 packs of the fairy lights, so that way we have a nice amount of light inside the bowl. And I'm going to get my gloves on because I'm going to be either touching or getting pretty close to touching the resin. Alright, so we got that mixed up, and now I've showed you guys the trick before on my videos where I wrap my lights so that way they're easier to get around in projects. So I just need to get these. I should have done this before I started mixing my resin, and because I tried to make sure I had everything within, you know, hand range as I'm going, so that way I'm not messing around with the resin too long, being warm. With these dang fairy lights, they just have it out for me, I'm telling you. Okay, I got it. So, what I want to do is, I'm going to take these fairy lights, I'm going to wrap them together, and then that way, I can have that better lighting on the inside, and then it's not going to be all, like, spaced out too far, if you know what I mean. So, anybody that hasn't seen me do it on video before, I normally try to show every time I do it. That way, if there hasn't been anybody that don't know the trick, they can learn the trick. Well, I call it the trick, but I've been doing it this way for years with these fairy lights, because it does make it so much easier to get them, you know, to work with them. But now, oh my gosh, this one's like really stuck. Like, it's really, really stuck, you guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it all the way untangled. Oh my goodness, I got it. Whew. Okay, so what I do is I take my ends. Your plugs are going to be on one end, and then your lights are going to be on the other. So you take your two, sorry, I'm trying to get this situated here real quick, and then I will show you. Oh, it keeps getting stuck. Oh my gosh, I'm about ready to say the heck with it, because I can't get it unstuck. Oh my goodness, I just had it. Now it's stuck again. Whatever, I'm going with it. So you take your two ends this way, right? And you want to take something like a pencil, paintbrush, whatever you got, okay? And you're going to wrap it around. And what this does is it creates a coil effect with your lights. And I'm telling you, it's so much easier to get your fairy lights down in jars or whatever you're doing, because then, like, if you need them longer or whatever, you can just like stretch out your little coil thing that you made. But otherwise, it stays together better, you know, and you're not sitting there trying to fight them while they keep wanting to come up on you, and you're trying to push them back down in the resin, and you're fighting with it constantly. If you wrap them around something like a paintbrush, a pencil, whatever you got, and it makes it a lot easier to manage. And so if any of you guys out there could use that tip or trick, there you go. And like I said, I was going to do this before, and I should have, but I try to, when I'm doing certain things like that, like this, where I could help somebody, maybe, you know, because I've learned a lot of stuff on my own through trial and error. And you want to make sure you leave enough out of your project, to that way it can sit, you know, or So now we have this coil of lights, and I'm just going to take it and place it down inside the bowl. Now, like I was saying, you can stretch it to make it, you know, as long as you need it to be, or, you know, however. But look how easy, look how much easier, you guys. Boom. Guess what? Lights are in. And I did double wrap these lights with 2 sets, like I was telling you, because I want it to have more lighting than just one. The one, like most fairy lights that you get are pretty sparingly already, like spaced out pretty far on your string. But the ones that you get from Temu, sometimes there's like one and then 5-6 inches one, you know, they're really spread out. So I like to double wrap them in certain projects to make sure we have that a little extra lighting. But there's what it looks like from the side. And now we're going to get this resin down in there so that way I can start putting stuff in before this resin gets too hot. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's kind of spread out enough down in there. It should be. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and dump this in. Look how pretty that color is, you guys. I should have threw a little bit of alcohol down in there. I wasn't thinking. And I mixed up 9 ounces because I wasn't exactly sure how much I was going to need to get it to the point of where I wanted it on the bowl. Because remember, we're doing this in like sections. We put the darker blue rim down first, and then now we're going to do like the fish bowl part of it. And then the bottom part of the bowl I'm going to do with like river rock and stone and stuff, you know, cool stuff like that for the bottom of the bowl. I was looking for some glow-in-the-dark gravel, but I couldn't find any in any of our like little local stores around here. And I know they do make it because I've had it before in fish tanks that my daughter's had when she was younger. So I know that there is some in stores. There used to be. It's just the stores that we have in our area are very sparse, and to be able to go to any like bigger stores, you have to really travel to get to anywhere. Like, we live out in the middle of nowhere, so you know, we have a DG and a little grocery store that is way overpriced. But other than that, if we want to go to a Walmart or something like that, we have to go, you know, about 45 minutes. And then, you know, we have like shopping cities, or, you know, however you want to say that, where they have like shopping malls, like big shopping malls, but they're about an hour and a half away from us. So, yeah, we have to get a little bit more creative down in our area with certain things. So now that we got the resin down in there, I'm gonna get this out of my way because I know I'm gonna smack it 100 times. Now we got the resin down in there and the lights. I want to start putting some stuff down in our bowl. So first thing I'm gonna do is, whenever I put that resin in there, it did make my lights float up a tiny bit, but I can just push it back down in there. And because I waited until my resin was warmer and thicker, it does help a little bit on that aspect too, where you know, it kind of helps it be thicker and stick a little better so that it's not floating up 50 times on you while you're trying to do something. But, alright. And as you can see, that was about the perfect color, I feel, what we mixed. Because you can see the blue-green color, but it's not, like, heavy and dark colored. So, let's start getting some fun stuff down in this bowl. How about it? Oh, I was going to put a little bit of crushed crystal in that. And I totally forgot. Alright, so we got some of these shells. We're going to... I bought this big thing on Temu for $5, like over a year ago. And it was packed full. Like, packed full. So, it was definitely worth the money. So we're gonna just start kind of shoving stuff down in. I will push them down in. Here. Get some stuff down in here. I'm really excited about this bowl because I've been wanting to do it so long. Had to say goodbye to my stepson, well, my adopted son, I should say, earlier. He left for the Marines for basic, headed off to Paris Island, and that was terrible. He's only going to be gone, yes, I understand, 2 months, but it's hard when, you know, you're used to seeing them every day and then they're gone. And my daughter's taking it really hard because they're really close and, you know, they call each other and talk to each other over everything. So yeah, she's really taking it hard too. And so it's been an emotional day today, but it's something he really is passionate about doing and has really taken the time out to think about, make sure it was what he wanted to do before, you know, he took the step to, you know, start really getting all the information. And he was talking to other retired Marines, and yeah, he really put in the work, and I'm proud of him for doing that, because, you know, there's some people that have jumped and went to go join militaries, no matter it be, you know, Army, Navy, Marines, whatever, and then they get into it and they figure out that it's way harder than what they wanted to get themselves into. And unfortunately, then that, you know, usually leads to other problems down the road. And so I really wanted to stress that to him when he was making these decisions. And I told him, listen, you need to go talk to, you know, other military people, and, you know, not just ones that are trying to recruit you to come in. You need to go talk to retired, you know, people, and other families of military people and stuff like that, because they're the ones that are going to give you their most honest, I feel, opinion on everything. You know, when you find them that are 20, 30 years and they're retired from the military, they know all the ins and outs, the goods, the bads, and that is important when making a decision as big as that, I feel. So, right now, he called, oh, excuse me, I just got a hiccup. He called us earlier, and he was still in the motel with a couple other buddies that he's leaving PA with to head down to basic. And he seemed tired and stuff, but he still seemed in really good spirits. So I'm sure, you know, as the days go on and the training goes on and all that, he's really gonna probably suffer a little bit, because he didn't do much of it before he left. And I kept telling him, like, you're really going to be sorry you're not doing any kind of working out or anything much before you're going. Now, he's an excellent marksman. Like, that kid can shoot a target like nobody's business. So, you know, that's more or less what he wants to really get into. But anyhow, as I'm rambling to you guys, so we got these shells in there. I stuffed it pretty good. And then I know you're not going to really see much of it because it's in resin, but I kind of want to put some of this like broken glass in there too. I wanted to put some of that crushed crystal in because I wanted to have that extra like shimmer shine, and I totally forgot when I was mixing it. But I want to put some of this like broken glass down in here too, and I'm just sloshing it around and stuffing it in there, not really caring where it's going or what it's doing, because as long as it's all in there. Oops. And I'm not gonna lie, if I try to 100% plan a project, like start to finish, I've told you guys this 100 times, it never turns out. Something ends up happening that it ends up not turning out right, and I get very disappointed because I put a lot of time and effort into finding things and planning things for days and buying certain specialty things or whatever, and then something happens and it doesn't turn out the way I want it to. So I've always been better with just flying out the seat of my pants, you know, just grabbing stuff and going. I've in our local Goodwill earlier, whenever I was waiting for the kids to get back from the airport after I got done with my doctor's appointments, and I was looking around in there, and sometimes they have a pretty decent like amount of stuff over in like the crafts and hobby like section of the Goodwill, but geez, they had like pretty much nothing. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you pretty much nothing. It was very disappointing. But I used to find seashells and glitter out the wazoo, and you know, ribbons and yarn, and yeah, I used to find so much stuff in there. More stuff than I ever knew what to do with it, to be honest with you. And now it's like there's nothing anymore. Okay, so we got some of that broken glass down in there. My time is getting shorter on this resin because it's really starting to get thick. I just thought it'd be cute to throw some of these pretty little like colored pearl things in here too. Get out of there. And just kind of pushing it down, stuffing it in there. We'll leave some of them up here too. Like, I don't care if some of them stay up on the top. But that way we can, it'll like tie it in with it. You know what I mean? Okay. Alright, that looks good. Now, I am going to, I think, just go ahead and mix up, I don't know, probably another 5 ounces, I'm gonna say. And we are going to start putting the river rock and stuff in here on the bottom. This stuff's so sticky. So let me mix that up real quick, and then I will be right back with you guys, okay? Okay guys, so I got some more resin mixed up here. Now we're gonna start adding in our river rock and stones and stuff like that. So I also got these, like, I don't know, these little, I don't know if they're like crushed glass or if they're little gravel pieces. I think there's crushed glass. I've had them for ever and a moon ago. I figured we could put some of these in there too. And maybe that would make it look kind of like the, you know, fish tank gravel in a way. So we're just kind of sprinkling this around. And I did throw a couple of the little starfish. As you can see, because I wanted to get them like in there before the resin started getting like too thick or hard. So I got those stuck down, and I got a couple of these they're actually glass. They're actually like sea glass. And I don't have very many pieces that are thinner, smaller. They're mostly like really big chunks. So I'm just gonna kind of lay the ones around that I was able to find that would fit in the bottom of here. No rhyme or reason, just chunking them wherever. Because in the water, in the ocean or sea or whatever, not everything has its own perfect little place, you know. So we gotta, these are, oh, I can't remember what they're called now, but they're like garnet, or I can't remember. They're like a blue stone. You know how you can get like the tumbled rocks and stuff? So I thought we could put a couple of these in just to add, you know, something else, a little bit else to look at. This is mainly going to be where our fish are going to be on the other side. So, and then I got some of these. Oops. Is that going to be okay? Yeah. I got some of these like rocks that I thought we could throw. I love rocks. I'm always outside picking up, you know, pretty rocks and stones and stuff out of driveways and alongside the road. And I don't know, I've been like that since I was a little kid. I was always outside and adventuring. I gotta be careful what I'm putting in here because I don't want it to be too thick that our resin don't cover it over it. Oops. Jeez. Okay. I don't know, that one might be too thick. I'm not 100%. And then, ooh, look at that one. It's like almost like a purpley color. Chunk of that one in there. There's like all different colors, all different kinds of cool little designs on these. Like, I love rocks. So cool. I like rocks and stones and crystals and anything that gets my mind going. I'm dropping these all over my floor. Oh my. I want to put some of these down underneath the side too, because they're, you know, it's coming up to the bottom of the floor of the water. So and make sure I stuff that one down underneath where that light is. There's another like kind of flat one. Okay. Just heard my doorknob, I thought. Like somebody was trying to come in it. I went and looked, investigated. I didn't see nothing. I don't know what that was about, but I apologize for throwing you guys on pause for a minute there. It is currently like 5:30 in the morning for me on the weekend night in a bad neighborhood. So I went to investigate real quick and see what the noise was. That is going to be another thing that I'm going to miss about having my son home in the area. Because even though he wasn't living with us at the time, you know, he was always not far and could get here quick if anything were to happen or go on, and he saved my life a couple years ago because I was having a heart attack, and he got me to the hospital really fast. I feel way faster than an ambulance would have ever got to me and then got me there. So forever grateful to that boy. Forever grateful. Trying to see if I can see any more that are smaller, different colors, maybe, you know, just trying to make it look a little bit, excuse me, dang hiccups. I was chugging coffee because I haven't slept in a couple days. For you guys out there that don't know, maybe first time you're watching my video, I have cancer and I don't really sleep that much because I'm in pain a lot, and so I'm usually up tinkering all night long doing stuff. And also I have very, very bad PTSD from an ex of mine who tried to quite literally take my life about 6-7 years ago. And so I have a hard time sleeping at nighttime. A lot of times I will just hang out all night long until daylight comes, and then once daylight comes, I, you know, start getting ready, laying down for bed. And I know I'm not like safe just because it's daylight, obviously, but I feel like there's more people up around, moving, aware, and so it does comfort me a little bit more, because you know what, at nighttime a lot of people are in bed. They're not, you know, out running around. It's looking pretty good, you guys, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and start filling it up with resin now, with the rest of it, to get it topped off to the bottom. I was gonna put a little bit of sand in here too, but I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna let it, because I don't want it to be, I might, like when I do my train coasters and stuff to go with the bowl, I might go ahead and do the sand and all that with it, but I think for this, I just want to let it without the sand, you know what I mean. So far, this is what we got. And we gotta pour the bottom. Now the bottom, I think I want it to be a little bit darker blue again. Not as dark as we did the rim, but darker than we did the middle section. So, before I do that, though, I think I'm going to take some of my crushed crystal and just lightly tap it in there. Like in around some of the stuff. Like, I don't want it like everywhere, but like in certain spots, give it that, like, you know, shimmer. There we go. And then what else? I don't know. We need to get the blue. To color the bottom of our bowl. So I'm gonna get And same with this, guys. I'm literally putting a tidbit at a time in because I don't want it to be too dark, but I want it to be a little dark. I want it to be a little bit darker than the middle, but not as dark as our rim. So we're just gonna slowly build our color. You know what? What about that blue? The magic blue. Is this it? Let me see. I was thinking we could put like a itty little tiny bit of it in there. To kind of give it a little bit of a like a shimmery blue. I really like this stuff. I gotta get some more of it because my bag's almost empty, as you can see. It's so pretty. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but they call it magic blue, and I got it on Temu for like $1 or something. See that? See how it like shimmers? It's so pretty. So beautiful in resin. I just want to put a little bit of it in there to give it like that glimmery, shimmery. But you don't want to put too much of that stuff in it because it is kind of like white based. So it does like cloud up your resin. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, that's pretty. Kind of reminds me of like some of the like powders and stuff that Into Resin sells. Like I said, I got it on Temu for $1 something. I got like a couple different blues and greens. I got this like purple, and then that is a red gold. That's purple pearl. And then I have this one here that's it's more of like a green. They called this blue too. See? Like magic blue pearl. Like this one. Same exact thing, magic blue pearl. But it's not the same color at all. They're completely different colors. So, yeah. Gotta be careful. Because I thought I ordered another one of that same, like that blue. And it wasn't. It was a green color, not a blue color. It had the exact same name though, the Magic Blue Pearl. But look at that. Look how pretty that is. It almost has like a purple hint to it too in certain lights. But yeah, it reminds me of like the Into Resin colors. Like they're so beautiful. I'm just debating on whether or not I want to put glitter in there. Or if I just want to leave it alone. purple. That's a pink. I'm trying to see if I have any of these that are blue. This is like more of a green. I think that's more of a purpley. It kind of looks blue, but it kind of looks purple too, so I'm not really sure. That's gold. That's silver. That kind of looks a little bluey, but it kind of looks a little purpley. So, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to put a little teensy bit of it in there. This stuff's awesome too. Magic. Yeah, that's got like purples in it too. Really pretty. That would make like really pretty like mermaidy colors together. That pearlescent blue, because it's got that blue purple, and then those like flaky glitters. Look at that. Oh yeah, that is absolutely gorgeous. Woohoo! I love messing with colors and resin. So beautiful. Can you guys see that? I wish that you guys can see what I'm seeing. It's like certain ways the light's hitting it. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay. Let's get this poured in here. How about it? Ooh, yeah. Definitely gonna have to mix up another, probably 2 ounces. Let me get this spread out. Just trying to make sure that the resin's getting down underneath the lip of this bowl. maybe, I'm gonna say probably another 2 ounces. And the nice thing about this is, like, even if there is any bubbles, it's underwater. So there's gonna be bubbles underwater, and that's okay, you know? Okay, that's pretty good. I actually might not put another 2 ounces on here. I might just go ahead and leave it alone the way it is. Because, yeah, there's still a pretty good lip there of where it needs filled in. But I can always do that after this layer cures. And, like, completely color it, like, 100% solid. If you guys know what I mean. Like, have that completely solid, dark blue color as the last, you know, bottom piece here. Yeah, I think that's what I am gonna do. Just so that way my bottom, like, this will all still be see-through then, but then my very last final layer, it'll be really nice and dark. I think it'll, like, when you look down on the inside of the bowl after you demold it to see the fish and all of this stuff, and that, I think it'll help show all of the stuff inside the bowl better if we got that darker base, you know, since I'm not gonna do a complete solid sand base bottom. I should at least still do the solid color on the bottom. So we will go ahead and let this cure overnight, and then tomorrow we will come back and put our last and final solid layer of color on, and then we'll demold it, and then we will start working on the fish, putting the fish in on the inside, which I'm so excited about. So I will see you guys later. Come back and see what kind of cool stuff we're gonna be putting in the little fishies. I can't wait. Alright, love you guys. Bye. Alright guys, so welcome back. I did go ahead and demold the bowl because I wanted to get the stickers and stuff put in here and kind of figure out my plan of what I wanted to do with the inside before I got my resin and mixed it up and all that. So I turned the lights on the bowl, and I just want to show you real quick. All my stuff's gonna slide around in there, but that's okay. I wanted to show you real quick what the outside of this bowl looks like now that it's demolded. And I think it turned out super cute, you guys. A lot of the shells did end up coming up to the surface of the bowl, which is fine because it actually is the bottom. So you know, more than fine. Some of them did stay a little bit up, you know. So it's actually, it turned out perfect. It really, really did. It turned out absolutely perfect. So now what we're going to do is I got some of them like fish stickers that you can put them in layers, and it's supposed to make the fish have more of like a 3D look or whatever. I wasn't worried about that with this. I just wanted the stickers. I did layer them, you know, but I just layered them on top of each other. I didn't layer it, resin, like I didn't do none of that, you guys. I just put one sticker on top of the other, and because I just want to pour this all in one level. I don't want to do multiple levels. So yeah, so that's the plan, guys. I kind of have this like spot right here where it's kind of bare, so I was thinking about putting this here to give it something of interest, and you know, maybe a little bit over here, whatever. And then I put these in, the stickers in, and then I put some of the koi fish stickers in that I got. They're actually nail decals. So if you guys watched one of my Temu hauls, you might have seen it. They're so cute. They're very beautiful. If you're using them for your nails even, they're nice, thick, good, you know, stickers. So, I did put some in here, like I said, and I'm debating, should I go ahead and just leave it alone like that, like what's within there, or should I put, you know, a couple more here or there, and, I don't know, you know, I don't want to put too much in there and make it look too busy, but I don't know. I might go ahead and save the rest for another project, because I have another idea for something else I'm going to be doing that is going to be like sea-themed, ocean-themed, whatever. And in that project that I'm going to be doing, I am going to be doing it in layers. I'm going to do one layer, one layer, one layer. So I'm going to build the layers one by one. So that one, yes, it was going to take me a lot longer to get that done than this, where I just wanted it to be, you know, one pour and done. Oh, sorry, I'm moving this tray. By the way, if you guys didn't see the video of this tray that I made, it turned out so beautiful, you guys. Go check that video out if you didn't see it. But this is going to be going up. I just finished it up. It's going to be going up on my eBay store for sale. If any of you guys are interested, sorry for the shameless plug. I'm also finishing up another tray coaster set, and it's going to have like a little perfume bottle. It's going to come with it too. I'll be posting that video up too, either tonight or tomorrow. So I am going to go ahead and put you on a pause real quick and mix my resin up, and I will be right back. Alright guys, so I just mixed up 3 ounces because, excuse me, I wasn't sure how much I was going to need to put in the bottom. So I'm just going to mix up 3, and if I end up needing a little bit more, that's fine. But I don't really want a real thick layer. That's why I wasn't real, because at first I had a bunch of like seashells and all kinds of stuff dug out, and I was like, boy, I don't want to do that, because then that means I gotta add more depth to the inside of this bowl, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose, you know, the depth of my bowl either. So that's why I was kind of debating on whether to put those shells in there or not, or like the green. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to be doing it with the other project that I was telling you guys about. and when I'm doing like building the layers in it, I'm definitely going to be doing it in that one, because it's going to be like a whole little mini scene that I'm building inside of something. And you guys wait till you see what I'm going to be building it in. I am super excited about it. I actually went to like a clothes closet type of thing where they let people go in and fill up garbage bags of clothes, and then you can also take like your clothes that you don't want there and donate them. So between my daughter and I, we have like 6 garbage bags full of clothes that we wanted to, you know, donate and get rid of. So we went and did that, and I found a bunch of really cool stuff whenever I was in there. So I ended up walking out with a whole box of stuff that I can use. And found my daughter a couple pair of brand new shoes, and it was awesome. Found our grandson a bunch of clothes. But yeah, it's nice whenever you can, I guess you would say, recycle, because you're recycling your old clothes out and getting new clothes, different clothes. And I went from 67 pounds before my major surgery and was wearing like 0s and 2s and pants and stuff, to then coming back on mass doses of steroids and IV nutrition, and I got up to 140 pounds, which I haven't seen since I was 9 months pregnant with my daughter 20 years ago. So then I was buying all these really, really big clothes, and now I'm starting to lose weight again. Not to the extent I was before, but so now I'm needing smaller clothes again. So it's nice to be able to just, you know, go swap some stuff out for different sizes when you need to, I guess. This place is like massive too. Like, it is absolutely massive. So, you know, there is tons and tons and tons of clothes in there, and they had still tons and tons and tons and tons that was donated that they didn't even put out. So, yeah, it was awesome. And I guess they do it like every weekend or every other weekend or something like that, and we just found out about it. So it's nice that we have that where we can go trade in some of our clothes and that. I didn't warm my resin before I mixed it, unfortunately, so it is quite bubbly, but it's Bond Craftor, so I know that it will degas really well on its own, even without me pre-warming it. Okay, so let me grab my torch real quick, and then we will start. I need to refill my torch, and I have a hard time doing it. Normally I have to have my sister do it, and it stinks because I don't live with her anymore. She don't live with me anymore. We don't live in the same house anymore. How about that? So I gotta try to catch her. Tell her I need my torch refilled. I have a hard time doing it because of my hands. She helps me a lot with that stuff. I don't know if I want to leave this stuff in there or not. You know what? Let's take it out, and then let's pour this in there and see where we're at, and then we'll go from there. I do know I want stuff in there if I can. If I can make it work in there, then I do. Because I want to add some more like, dimension to it, I guess is the word you want to say. So I'm just gonna try to get it as even as I can. If I have to put my heat gun on to help move it around and get the bubbles out, I will. Which actually sounds like a great idea. So, let me plug my heat gun in real quick. Oops. It'll help move that resin around a little bit, and it'll also help get rid of our bubbles. Alright, and now let's see if we can put some of this stuff in here without it like wanting to float everywhere. This spot here is where I wanted it to go. I don't know if this stuff is going to float or not. I have never used it in resin before, so we are about to find out. I'm trying to like smush it down in there so that it's as flat as possible too. And then we'll put that there. We'll put that there. I'm not really sure what kind of shell that is, but it's really cool looking. I dug it out of that jar I have. I never had, like, there wasn't any other ones in there like that either. It was the only one. And it's really cool looking. I kind of wanted to, like, put some of this greenery, like, around where the fish are at and make it look like the fish are, like, hiding in the green. But I need to get some lily pads for my next project that I'm doing that with the, it's not gonna be the next project that I do, but the next project that I do that is like the water, ocean, whatever you want to say, theme. I want to get some lily pads, and I want to get some little tiny froggies and stuff like that. Because I have like an idea on what I want to do and how I want it all planned and executed. So I'm like on the hunt for certain things, little turtles, little frogs. If I can find some, like, this stuff would probably work for like the seaweed look. So And all it is like moss. I got it at my Dollar Tree a while ago because I was originally going to get the big frog that Pouring Your Heart Out, Julie, Pouring Your Heart Out made, that you can now buy on Amazon. Whenever she first came out with it, I had a brilliant idea. If you guys might have heard me actually talking about it in my videos from months ago, if you've been watching me that long. But I was talking about wanting to build like a pond theme inside of the frog, the big frog mold, and somebody else ended up doing it before I got the chance to do it, and it broke my pea little heart. So I had been buying a bunch of stuff to build this pond frog, and then ended up I didn't do it because I didn't want anybody to think that, like, even though I had been planning it for months and talking about it, you know, forever in my videos and long before somebody else did it, I didn't want to get accused of copying somebody else's idea. So I just didn't. And you know how foul some people can be sometimes. So that's why I was just like, no, you know what? I'm just not going to do it because I don't want the backlash and the possible comments that may come. So I just decided I was going to leave it alone. Alright guys, I think I am going to need to mix up a little bit more. Like, maybe 2 more ounces, I think. And that should be... But you guys know what I'm talking about, like how people can just be really rude sometimes, and they kind of tend to blow things up. You know, God forbid somebody from a bigger channel would do something, and then you do it, and you're a little bit smaller of a channel, and they automatically think that you're just copying somebody else, and the thing is too is like the whole point of making the videos and, you know, sharing them on YouTube, I thought, you know, is to be able to share your ideas and tips and tricks and inspire people and stuff like that. But then, like, that's how a majority of us feel and think. But then some automatically go right for, oh, you're just trying to copy this person or that person, or, you know, and then, so I just tend to sit back and not. So I still plan on doing my pond frog eventually. But you know, I'll wait a while before I do it, and then you know, if anybody really, I guess, gives me a hard time when I do go to do it, it makes any kind of rude comments or anything, then I'll just tell them to go ahead and go back through some of my older videos and watch them, and they'll see where I was talking about doing that pond frog and showing stuff that I was buying to make the pond frog long before somebody else made one. But that's okay, you know? Sometimes you just gotta learn to take the high road, guys. Gotta take the high road. And life's too short, y'all. Way too short. So, gotta enjoy it while we're here. You know, whenever I shut the video off there last, when we finished pouring the bottom and that, I was talking about coming back on and pouring another like 2 ounces and making a completely solid bottom for this bowl. And then I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And then I was like, yeah, I really do want to do that. But if I would have done that, it would have been almost pointless because I, at that time, had poured too much. And if I would have went and poured another layer, even if I would have made it really, really thin, it probably would have ended up, it would have ended up being too much and on the bottom. So I just decided to leave it the way it is. If anything, I may end up, once this is all fully cured and whatever, I may end up just like painting the bottom and then sealing it with some clear coat, some clear acrylic paint or clear acrylic spray, and just doing that, like, just so that way, like, I'll paint it and then seal it with that, what the heck's it called? I can't remember now. It's like a 4-time clear spray, sealer spray stuff, but, then it'll be safe, you know, for me to get, you know, if anything gets on it or whatever, it can be wiped and cleaned without it ruining it. So, because I think I'm going to put this bowl and some other cute little things I'm going to be making out on our picnic table. But I want to get a bunch of this stuff done and made first, and then my daughter and I are going to redo the picnic table. We're going to repaint it and seal it and all that stuff. We're just waiting for it to get a little bit nicer weather outside because, you know, can't be doing that stuff whenever it's cold and droggy and rainy and yucky. It won't dry right and it'll look awful. So once the warm weather comes, and I figure that'll give me enough time to make the rest of my little projects that I want to make to put out there. I'm going to make some planters, but I'm not going to make just resin ones. I'm actually going to make some mixed mold ones too. And so I got to get some stuff collected up for that. And then, yeah, I'm just going to make a bunch of really cute stuff. I'm going to redo the birdhouses and feeders and stuff that are out there too. And, I mean, I'm probably not going to end up sharing that on this channel. But I could always show you guys in a video too. Yeah. Not show you me making it, but I could show you like what they look like finished. If y'all wanted to see that. But once we get, you know, closer to that time, we'll figure it out together. I'm just trying to get enough put in here that it covers the majority of this stuff here. And then that's it. I said I didn't want to put too much in here because I didn't want to take away from the depth of it, but what did I end up doing? Y'all. Somebody stop me. That's good enough. I think that, like, if it's sticking up a little tiny bit, that's okay. Now all my stuff's moving, so I gotta move it back over there where it's supposed to be so it's not floating all over my bowl. Okay. Then my fishies are still good. Yep. Get over there. I forgot to put UV resin in my shells. If you use UV resin and you put some down on the inside of your shell and cure it, it helps so that way your shells don't keep wanting to float as much, because it kind of like fills them up, you know what I mean? Alright, let's blow out some of these bubbles. Watch your ears, y'all. Alright, how about that? That's what it looks like. Isn't it so cute? Now, I'm going to turn down some of these lights real quick so we can see what it looks like with the lights off a little bit. I'm not going to turn all of them off, just a couple of my overhead ones real quick. Can you guys see that? It's not glowing. Like, it's not lit up like super bright or nothing like that, but it is lit up real cute. There we go. Now you guys can see it a little better. That is so cute, you guys. Alright. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on our little adventure to make a fish tank bowl. And are you guys ready for the next video? I am. Alright. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have any questions, please leave them below. And I love it. And I love all of you guys. See you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye.